Hi guys. So this segment is going to be some some Bible stories that I'm just going to talk about. I want to explore with you the gospel further from this week, the Canaanite woman and the demon, and I want to relate it to a another story that's in another gospel, I believe. It's the story of Peter's denial of Christ and how that relates to the Canaanite woman. Now, I think with the Canaanite woman, she was faithful, and the disciples of Jesus were not being Christ-like figures. They figured, this is just a person. She's not a Jew. She's not worthy of you. I don't know about that, guys. I don't know if that fits today's description of it. When we look at today's time, are we all Jews? Are we all Gentiles? No. We are completely different people called to the supper. It's right up there. That's the supper right there. I think it's somewhat important to think about, why do people view others as not being significant in God's eyes? Aren't we all worthy of God's love? I mean, God chose his people to be redeemed by Jesus. Now, I think a lot of the stigmatism comes from just the different views of people, but for me personally, I believe that everybody is chosen to be somebody by God, and that no matter if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, gay, straight, male, female, whatever you are, it doesn't matter, because God chose you to do something, no matter what you think or other people tell you, because it's not true. God made each one of us individually in his hands and for his service. Others can tell you, you're not important, or you're not worthy, or you're ugly, or whatever you may be. But, in God's eyes, we're all beautiful, and we're all originally made to be who we are and why we're the way we are. And I think in relation to St. Peter's story of the denial of Christ, I think some of that comes from, Peter denied the Christ 3 times, but God still forgave him, Jesus still forgave him in that moment. He forgave him. He said, feed my sheep, and it's significant to know that when Peter denied Christ, he denied him 3 times, and Jesus redeemed him 3 times. And Peter went on to become the first pope. But Peter became the first pope. He became the leader of the church after Jesus suffered and died and was buried and rose again. He became our modern day pope. He became the pope for the early church. And I think a lot of it comes from, do we fear all that the Lord thinks? Or do we go to him when we are sorry? And Peter was afraid. He was very much afraid. He was petrified, probably, of what the Lord had done, what the Lord would do, or what the Lord would say, or, how he felt about it. I mean, I'm sure he probably felt ashamed and broken and just like mad at the world for giving him that opportunity to say no. I do not believe in him. No, it's very hard to say I believe sometimes. It is impossible sometimes to say it because of the fact that we are unfaithful sometimes. I think a lot of, if Peter didn't deny Christ, would we really have the church we have now? If Peter didn't deny the Christ and get redeemed by the Lord, would he have been the Pope he was? Would we have all the saints we have now? Everything happens with a purpose. And Peter was chosen for a purpose. Just like we are. Every day we are challenged for a purpose. I think some of it comes from, do we accept others? Do we love others as Jesus would? I forget what verse it is, and I don't know if this translation is correct, but Jesus says, love one another as I've loved you. Love one another as I have loved you. It's hard to love on others when you're different. But to be different is an example to the ones that are lost and forgotten and hopeful and hopeless and the broken and the uncertain and everywhere in between. I think a lot of it just, it's hard. It is hard. And you're going to have times where you want to go to a dark place and say, I don't like that person, or that person's just mad, or whatever. It's hard. It is hard. And I think some of it comes from being able to be present in what they have to say and open to the possibility that they may be a decent person. Not because of the color of their skin or their faith or the sexuality or any of that, but because in our eyes, they're still a child of the one true King. And they will always be. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just close this segment, but I want to hear your comments below, and if you have any questions about what I said, or comments or critiques, you can just message me. But please do remember to love, not hate. And peace be with you.